this. And of course, this will put much pressure on the citizen in general. And you were talking about certain strategies. Maybe one can learn how to put his priorities, for example, how to cut expenses from one side to support the other side. Tell us more about your own vision.
My vision is, first of all, in any situation, you have to recognize where you're at. So we have to admit it's a tough time. We have to admit internally and not pretend it's okay. It is very expensive. Prices went up very high with limited resources for most people. Not everyone can increase their income as the same way. So first of all is awareness. So like if you're sick, you have to admit I'm a bit sick. You have to admit, maybe you have to stay in bed, maybe you have to take some hard medicine, but you are a bit sick. So we are in a situation that's a bit tough, but we're not going to be sick forever. It's not going to be years either. We are on our way to better. I'm actually an economist. This is my study to start with, and then I'm a financial advisor. So we are taking drastic medicine. It's pretty tough, but it's like taking very tough medicine to get better. So first of all, you're going to have to be aware of where you're at, so that then you have to take the right steps towards solving this illness, I will call it, or this tough period in your life. So number one is, of course, you have to relook and relook and relook, if you have to do it every month, every week, at your budget. And where again can you cut? Where again can you cut? Where again can you cut? Because this is a time where you are taking a very tough medicine, and you may do things you don't like to do. You may have to take medicine that doesn't taste well. You may have to do things you're not used to. So it's really a lot of change in your way of thinking about your expenditure and your life. And we are humans, and we are programmed to our behavior. So if we're used to having that coffee from that place, we're used to it. If we're used to having this kind of amount of food in the house, then we're used to it. And it's hard to break the habits. It's true. That's why I'm saying it has to come from the conscious mind. The conscious mind has to be the driver of the subconscious mind. Like, no, I can't buy that, when I used to just pick it up.
Yes, but what about the strategies?
So
what can we do other than, as you've mentioned, trying to be happy and so on? What are the strategies? Like, should we make like a plan, a financial plan for ourselves? Should we do a budget limit? What can we do, for instance?
Well, the first step is to do the budgeting. As I said, you have to relook at your budget and keep saying, where can I cut corners? Where can I remove some things? And then change your habits. We're going to have to change our habits for a while. It's exactly as if you're sick. If you're sick, you don't have the same habits you usually have. Let's say you normally wake up at 7 and go out and work and come. When you're sick, that's not going to happen. Maybe you're spending a lot of time in bed. Now we are in a situation where we have to change our lifestyles. But knowing that it's not going to be forever. This makes it a little bit easier on the person. It's not forever, just for a period, maybe 6 months, maybe a year, because investments are coming in. Of course, they have to come in because we're very inexpensive. I mean, the dollar is almost 18 pounds or whatever, so it is easy for people to invest in Egypt. Definitely, just the numbers. So it has to work. It has to work. Yeah. The numbers will have to work. People will bring in their money and start. Tourism will have to come because it's a very inexpensive place to visit. Because again, the dollar is about 17 or 18 pounds, whatever it is. So you have to know it's limited. That's number one. Number two, you're budgeting, and you have to be very careful with everywhere you put your money, and you have to change your lifestyle. You may have to change things you don't want to change. And that's why I'm relating it to being sick. I don't want to say the country is sick, but I mean, you're in a different situation. So you may have to do things you really, really don't like. You may have to say, no, we can't do that at all. Totally. So yeah, the quick things are like change your food habits. Yes, you may have to decrease your food. Just decrease your food. Change the way you eat. Change, maybe this year you don't buy any clothes. We all have enough, pretty much, or buy the minimal. You're going to have to look and reuse and recycle things in the home. People should be trading things, selling things they're not using. You should start to live this way for a while. And I think it's a good chance to relook at people's lives. Like, where are we wasting? Where are we not conscious in what we're spending? Because a lot of us are not conscious in what we're spending. Because we got into the habit of whatever we're doing.
Well, let's be logical, practical. And there are a lot of people, even before the exchange rate and the devaluation of the Egyptian pound, actually, they quit the luxurious life, actually. And because due to the expenses, we have talking about the subsidies when it comes to the gas, for example, all of this, we have the school fees, we have the medical treatment in Egypt, and people are suffering from the prices of medicines, a lot of things, actually. So I don't think people will have time to talk or to think even about the food or clothes or people really quit this, but just as you mentioned, still they are suffering and they have things that they have to pay actually. They are not luxurious. They have to pay certain things and still they don't have enough money. Of course, they cut food, they cut a lot of expenses. And you were talking about happiness and peace of mind as well, to be able to confront the challenges. Can we elaborate on this point?
Yes, it is now very important also to keep that. It's great that you brought it up, the positivity, because the mindset will help you get through this hard time. You need to keep your mind on, it's going to be okay, I'm going to make it. If you have to say every morning, actually you can train your mind, I'm going to make it, it's okay, I'm safe. Those are 3 statements to tell the mind it's okay. Because when you go into the fear of what am I going to do, I have fees coming up, let's say for school, or maybe a house mortgage, or anything that you owe, a big lump, you go into fear. And it's scary, and you go into stress. The body also goes into stress, a lot of hormones that are not good for you, plus you can't think straight. So you need to rest that. You need to every day assure yourself, I am safe. And to be honest, we are safe. So let's say you have to change the school. You're still safe. It's okay. It sounds awful, but it's not death. You have to change your house. You might have to. I mean, this is a tough time, I said. It is exactly like being really sick. You might have to change your habits of how you do your life. So I'm not saying it's all easy. It's not going to be easy for a while, but I'm saying for at least a period of time, we're going to have to be tough on ourselves. And I know a lot of people have already removed the luxuries, just outings and food and stuff. But even further, that's what I'm saying, it's a good time to reassess how we live. There's still room for cost saving. When it comes to cost save, like any factory, they look at the smallest things. I will never forget, I one time was dealing with a hotel, and they removed from the breakfast tray the olive, just one olive, from the breakfast tray of everyone who had that. No, it was an airline. They removed the olive. And it was something we were teaching, and when we were teaching finance, and it made a huge difference. And it looks so small. So I'm saying it might be the little things, the one plate that half of the food is thrown, or the too much soap you're using. And simple things add up because the laws of numbers. I remember last time I talked to you, if you save 10 pounds a day, you save 3,000 pounds a year, 3,650. So what if you save 20? And you won't believe when you watch your income how many little numbers are being thrown out. That's on the small scale. On the big scale, you might have to take drastic measures, like having to make an operation if you're ill. That's a drastic measure. On your finances, you might have to take a drastic measure. It's not fun, it's not great. But you have to come back to the positivity we were talking about, which is, I'm safe, I'm okay, I'm still alive, I can make it. Because what happens is the mind goes, how am I going to make it? How am I going to make it? And you have to remind it daily, I can make it. The process to do that is either write it 100 times or you say it 100 times. You wake up and say, I can make it, I can make it, I can make it, I'll do it, I can make it. And then what happens is your mind becomes more ingenious and it starts to think of things to how to at least either cut costs or make money. If you have your own business or something, you might be able to make more money. If you have a very limited funding, you might cut costs. Or you might have an idea like, oh, I could sell that thing I have. I have something that I can sell. And we always have things around the house that we're not using at all for years that we couldn't bring in some money.
Yes, indeed, but sometimes it gets too stressful because you look at your money, and as the days are passing and they are decreasing and the month hasn't ended yet, and then you start like really feeling bad, and then it's very difficult that you start selling your stuff because it's a series of months after months after months. So I can sell something long a month or two, but I'm not going to continue like that forever. And the salaries are not increasing, the prices are increasing and surging actually, and we have an issue. Most of the Egyptians have an issue.
You need to get more ingenious. I agree with you. You've done your selling and now you still have an issue. You have to become like, what do I have as a skill? What can I do that can make money? And I swear to you, there isn't one person on earth that doesn't have a skill other than what they do that they can bring in money. Maybe I can translate, maybe I can cook, maybe I can help someone do something. Whatever it is, maybe I can write small blog and make some money. There's something you can do, anyone can do, or how can I improve what I do? There's always something, but the thing is we're all feeling stuck like there's no solution. I have this amount of money, this is my time, I work one job and this is it. That's not true. We are ingenious, and when we are need to make it, we do.
So
when
you
we
mean
need to
that
find the solution, we will.
each one of us has a talent inside.
Yes.
So that how can each one find something inside so that he can take benefit of?
The easiest, there's lots of programs about that, it's not my work, but the easiest way is like to sit down with a piece of paper and think of what you love to do, and just like write 30 things you really love to do. It could be I love reading books, and you're going to say, how's that going to make money? It could be I love writing, I love drawing, I love cooking, I love knitting, I love crocheting, whatever it is. Write them all down, and then by looking at that, that's one way, you will start to know where your talent is, what is enjoyable for you. And then try to create some money out of it. There's many ways to create money out of it. Now I will tell you one of the easiest ways. If you have any skill with some, not a lot, you can write little articles like and sell ebooks. There's a man in the States who wrote a cookbook for only $1. He decided to make it only $1, to make it really cheap, so it's not a decision. You want the cook, it was Middle Eastern cooking, by the way. You pay $1. He sold 1 million. I'm not promising everybody can sell 1 million, but I mean, it looks little, but it made money because of the law of the numbers.
It's the economy of scale.
Exactly. It's the law of the numbers. So everybody. So the easiest thing is now it's the information age. They say the easiest thing to make money on is ebooks. Ebooks can be 7, 8 pages. Arabic, English, any language. Write something of your expertise and put it on the thing for sale. And it will start bringing in. Of course, maybe in the beginning it's little. Start getting known that you're good at that, helping people. I remember I met a young man who had traveled to study in a country abroad. And then he said, with all the hassle I went through to learn like how to apply, how to get the visa, how to do this, he said, I could write an ebook just to support people, the path to getting yourself in another country to study. So and somebody who needs that. Somebody needs that. And it's getting it out. The Facebook is easy to market yourself, to tell people about it. It's inexpensive. It can be free at some time. You can do it for free. So you have to find a way. I know it sounds like little bits and pieces, but that also, having the hope, will put you in a more positive state. Again, I have to emphasize, you have to be in the positive state. Because if you're in the fear state, by the way, you will even take the wrong decisions about your expenditure. You'll be tired, you'll be frustrated, you might spend wrong. But when you're calm and quiet, you spend better. You make the right decisions.
Yes. What about happiness? You were talking to us before the interview about happiness, and that happiness itself, it deserves an entire episode and its techniques. So would you talk to us more about that?
It definitely does, because there's a lot of research, and of course we have a country that has a happiness minister now, Dubai, and there are ratings of countries and their happiness level. This is an important fact, but energetically, if we're talking now energy, we are all energy, and it's all frequencies. Everything is a frequency. And you need to be at a high frequency, and happiness is just halfway, by the way. There's joy and there's other things. To be happy, then you can bring in what you want. Your mind operates better. You are open to situations. So if I'm always not happy and depressed, I'm not even listening, my mind is not receiving that this could be an opportunity or a solution someone is saying, because I'm so depressed or frustrated or angry or fearful. Fear is a huge negative emotion. If I'm happy and in that state, positivity, it starts with positivity. Happiness is a bit higher than positivity. At least practice positivity. One of the ways I just said is by saying firmly, I can make it. That's just one of the simple ways. I'm okay, I am safe. Because keep saying those words to yourself. Of course, there's many ways to do happiness. It does deserve. One of them is keeping a gratitude book. Every day you have to write 3 to 5 things that you're thankful about. And they can be simple. That you had a hot shower, you had the water to take a shower. And that makes there's a lot of science. It makes the brain actually point to that area instead of looking, like you wake up, if you're not in that mode, you go to the other default, which is Another day, a lot of expenses, it's awful, the streets are crowded, what am I going to do, this work, I have to go. All those thoughts are going, and they are blinking actually in the brain. They put something called functional MRI, they see them, they're lighting. You can stop those parts and make the other part of the brain open up, which is how thankful I am, I'm still alive, I'm healthy, I can get up, I have water, I have electricity, I have something, transport downstairs, or a bus that's available, I have a job. And then it starts to see the positive. And once you're in that vibration all the time, you are open to receiving ideas. It's a huge, it deserves a lot of time, actually.
Well, actually, it differs from one person to the other how he perceives his actual life. So, talking about some people, they can learn from the failure, for example. Some others, the failure will break the person. So, it differs from one person to the other, as I mentioned. So, how can we work on this again for those who can take benefit from the previous experience?
So, let me tell you what I've learned over my journey of 8 years. A lot of things, it's like you have to be taught. So if you read or are told, or you listen to the television and you're told there's no such thing as failure, they're just all lessons, that starts to register in your brain, oh, what I went through is not a failure, I actually learned. And you may have to take a piece of paper, like if I was coaching someone, take a piece of paper and tell me the biggest failure, write it up here on a piece of paper, and then after you just write the title, write me 5 or 10 things that you learned from that. What has that done for you? Because in your path in life, what we termed as humans as failure, they're part of your path for a learning for something. So that you'll not never do that again, or you might be teaching people not to do that again, or to avoid that. But there is a reason. Like when someone tells me I was addicted to drugs and now I've stopped. I say, yeah, because now you're helping others tell them avoid how bad it was and teaching them tools to stop that. So it looked like a huge failure. He looked like a huge failure, but now it's not a failure. So what we go through, it's like reflecting and understanding, the awareness part. And as I keep repeating, if we don't have the awareness, then we haven't learned anything. We've got to take the awareness every time we go. So if you had a failure, they need to reteach themselves, this is not called a failure. This is a way of me learning a certain lesson. And the reason also, the next steps, I'm learning this lesson is for me to do something with it.
To avoid.
Personally or to teach others, I don't know, but it's their path. Because there's nothing that's going to happen in your life without a purpose. And the purpose is not to harm you. I mean, if you talk about God, He's not there to harm you by this failure. No, the purpose is for you to move forward in something. So like mine was not a failure, I'll just give an example, but it's a huge lesson. I had rheumatoid arthritis, I got very sick. I changed my life from being just a financial advisor to understanding energy work, and I healed. If I had never gotten sick, I would have never been there. I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing today. So I'm always thinking how amazing that I got. It was horrible. It was painful. It was really bad. But, and still sometimes I have tears when I remember those days. But when I remember that from there is where I am now, then I think, oh God, thank you that had to happen. Because if it was a normal disease, I got over it in a month or two, I wouldn't be here. But it wasn't. It was something that I was told it wasn't going to go away. It was going to get worse, and the pain was getting worse. And so I learned something new.
Yes. Now, as you were talking to us, you spoke about the levels of energy, and you said that happiness is just a stage and that there are other levels. Would you tell us more about these levels, please?
There's a scale. It's called the emotion scale, and it goes from 0 to 1,000. Happiness is somewhere in between. Joy is higher. What we call gratitude is higher, and you go up. So we want to be at 500. 500 is the level of love. Just love, meaning you're always feeling love for others. You feel you love yourself. It's not easy to get love. Most people are vibrating at about 180 to 220. And actually before 2011, somebody did research worldwide, and they measured different countries. Egypt was one of them. And depending on where the population is vibrating, like if they're angry or sad or fearful or feeling frustrated, that's where you're at. So it is important that people raise their vibration, because you can only attract good things if you're vibrating at good. You have to be peaceful inside and happy to be able to bring in health, wealth, and good relationships. And it's obvious, if you're miserable and you hate yourself, are you going to get the right person to be attracted to you? Of course not. Are you going to get a really good job? It's hard. Because even if you have the best qualifications, when you do the interview, there's something about, they say your vibe. There's something about them, I don't know, I don't want them to work with me. And they're like a Harvard degree, I don't know what, they're amazing. The CV is amazing. And something puts you off because their vibration is not high enough. So the scale is 0 to 1,000, and people who work on themselves are always trying to raise that level, because that's the only way, as I said again, rating to attract what you want. Because the law of attraction says like attracts like. So I have to be around 300, 400, 500 to attract things that are vibrating at that. It's like a magnet.
Maybe the point is that no one knows how to discover himself. No one is aware of his capabilities. Or, for example, when we talk about the SWOT analysis, for example, how many one try to think of just applying the SWOT analysis on himself? It's not about business, actually.
Yeah.
It's the first important part. Before you apply it on business, you have to apply it on yourself.
And once you do that, you will be able to really at least use what's best about you and know what to avoid. But this is the awareness part we're doing. Like, you're doing a great job bringing me in and other people on TV. We're teaching people, and it's been going on before me. And for years, I first saw my coach on TV. That's how I got to know my coach. So, on the Egyptian TV. So, what the thing is, we have a role, all of us, to bring the awareness to people, even the simplest people. They don't have to go to a coach. To start with, like you said, do a SWOT analysis for themselves. Maybe we can simplify the word. Just write your what you call your assets and your liabilities, what's not so great about you. Fix those and improve those. That's just about it. Awareness, awareness. I will always go back to awareness. Know yourself. And it's the job of the media, and it's the job of people like me to talk about this to as many people as possible. Have time to reflect on your life. And it's not the cycle of eating, sleeping, working. Stop and see what am I doing with my life? What's happening?
Yes.
It's very important.
Now, did it take you long? Would it take long to adjust, like to be happy? Because we can perceive our minds that we should do this, and that, but it's not necessarily that we'd be able to acquire the feeling itself or the satisfaction of it. So is it hard to adjust and adapt?
It's hard and easy. If we could instantaneously see how lucky we are to be on earth and okay, it would take a second. That's hard for us humans to do. So it takes a lot of conscious awareness, bringing the thoughts every day in the morning. That's why I said the gratitude book, one of them is, I am fine, I am well, I am good. There's a lot of processes you can do, but it's not hard. It's a life path. You're going to do it every day. It's like washing your face. You need to do it every day. You need to remind your body and mind every day that you're fine. And all the things around you that are amazing. The flowers in the streets, whatever. You just have to keep reminding. Because we're not Buddha, we're not the prophets that we can instantly tell ourselves, oh my God, I'm happy, I'm so happy to be here on earth and I'm doing well. So what you're going to do is do the work. And it's not a lot of work, it's a mindset. It's all from the inner, by the way. If you convince your inner, the thoughts, that you're fine, you don't need anything from outside, then you can be happy. And in reality, that's what it is. Because in reality, the soul needs nothing. The soul, it doesn't need clothes, it doesn't need food, it doesn't need... All this is a little bit of cover-up you need. They're fine to have and enjoy, but when you recognize that you're a soul, you're getting me very serious now. You're a soul and you need nothing, you will find you're happy already.
That's very hard.
It's heavy. It's a bit heavy. Yeah.
Who can endure more the challenges or with the challenges, males or females?
I don't think it's gender. I haven't studied that, but I think it's just how aware you are.
In general, from your experience, who comes to you more?
I see my experience, it has to do with awareness. If people are aware what the story is all about, sometimes men are very connected. It's being connected and knowing you. It's not about religion, it's not about connection. I don't want to use big words. It's just about knowing what the story is all about. We're here for 70, 80 years to do our best, to have fun, by the way, to dress and have fun and play with this world, but that's not the whole purpose. The whole purpose is for the soul to do what it's supposed to do, to be honest, to be good, to do something, to leave a legacy, to do some good for humanity, if you're a doctor or a nurse or anything, teacher. That's what the whole purpose is about. It's not about the house or the car or the good food or the clothes. Those we really have to have a session, episode for this. Those we call, they're like your toys. And it's fun to have the toys, and I'm a wealth coach. I want people to have the toys because the toys make them happier. And then it's the cycle. The happier you are, the more you can manifest. But it all starts from being inside first. If that's not happy and you're not satisfied and you're not grateful, it's so hard to be happy. And that's why you have people who are multimillionaires and they're not able to feel it. They have everything. But they say, I'm lonely, I'm not happy, I don't feel loved. Because they didn't work on the important part. And that's the awareness we're doing. It's all about the conscious awareness. And it's simple. It's not, let's not make it hard. Go back to the heart. Like, what does the heart know? We all know. And by the way, in Egypt, we're lucky because the people are still close to their heart, whatever it is. Because of the religions. They're all still...
emotional?
Not the word emotional. The word, they're natural. There's still a bit of purity inside. Fitra, بالArabic. They're still there.
Yes.
We have it still there. So, and that's why it's easier to talk to someone who's simpler. They get it. The richer you are sometimes, or people who are very systemized, very educated, they're like, no, it doesn't make sense because it's 1 + 2 = 3. When in reality, 1 + 2 equals infinity. We don't know what it equals. For every 1 + 1, 1 equals something different. And that's what it has to start from inside.
Now, you've mentioned that you were ill for a while and that was the turning point for you. Now, tell me, how long did it take you to get over, let's say, not your fear, but being uncomfortable? And do you feel that you really achieved happiness or satisfaction?
Happiness is not something over there you achieve. It's something you work on every day. It's actually
So did you manage to do that?
At least part of it, yes. There are days that are tough. Everybody, you have to know this. There are days that are going to be tough. The prophets went through tough days. I mean, they should have been luckier than us. Everybody goes through tough days. But the thing is how fast you bounce back. That's the measure. So before my journey, I would say when I got into something bad, it could be simple, like the kids were bad or somebody did this or the car got hit. Oh my God, and that's why I got sick, autoimmune. I was really upset and hurt, and the thought patterns were very strong. This and that, I have to fix it, what do I have to do? Now the bouncing is very fast because I remember what I teach, and I say, okay, stop, you're fine, you're okay, everything is fine. It's just about this, you will do it. It's part of your path anyway. And it's all about, it's not me saying that, it's all about anybody you'll talk with self-development, they'll tell you it's about the bouncing back. It becomes very short. It might take sometimes 1 hour. Sometimes it will take a day. But still, it's not the month. It's like, it's okay. Even the worst. Even when I went through my parents' death. It wasn't like, I think, if I had not learned this. Because I understood it's the path, it's the fact, it's this, it's that. And that's what. And people say, you look like you can take whatever happens. Still get shocked. I still get sad. But I'm able to breathe and say, I can deal with this. If I couldn't deal with it, it wouldn't be in my reality, by the way. I mean, if we're going to discuss about the whole plan, God's plan, if I couldn't deal with it, He wouldn't put it in my path. Because you don't give your 5-year-old algebra. You don't give him an algebra problem when he's in 1st grade. You give him what he pretty much can do. This with God, let's say. He'll give you what you can handle. If you can't handle it at all, you won't get it.
Yes. Indeed. Well, wealth and happiness coach, Mrs. Miratesh Sukkari, thank you very much for this insightful interview, and we hope that we all achieve happiness and satisfaction and manage to also control our finances as well.
Deal with our finances.
Yeah, or
let's talk about it as dealing with our finances.
Yeah, let's just say that.
It makes it easier on the brain.
Yeah, we hope so too. And now it's time for a quick break, and then we'll be back again to resume our breakfast show. So stay with us.